Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening once more, everybody, and welcome to today's class. Today we shall be learning how to fish few pips with a great amount of accuracy, or in other words, some people say slap, but not the way people understand it, or not the way you guys have been doing it, but there's a way I do mine that I figured out using just two moving averages. Just two moving averages. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove um, the MACD so I have some space to show you what we have to do. This is the trade of today. That's nothing to do with today's class, so I'm just going to TP1, TP2 hits, and we're riding. Just check this. Good. So just some few pips. It is good for those who have little accounts. This is the first thing. If you have a small account, you definitely trade with a lot size of 0.01, and I recommend you start with commodities or indices that are very slow. Commodities such as gold, exactly such as gold, silver as well is slow, or you can use oil. This is oil. It's also not that slow, but not that fast and radical like US 30. Don't start using it with US 30. You can train with whatever you want to do, but when you start with your live account, start with something very small, such as gold. Gold is not that volatile. So first things first, the first thing we need to be able to slap, right, is you need to know which index or which average in the market is the strongest. What does that mean? You guys see that market always goes up. Like right now we're on oil. Let's take something which moves a little bit faster. Trade of today. Market always, and we go always on the 1 minute time frame, right? Why fishing? Market always does this movement, goes up, right? And definitely it might come back down. What am I saying? You would hardly see a candle without candlesticks. You would hardly see such candles, such as this blue one here. You mostly see candles with these candlesticks. What does that tell us? It tells us that market ended right at this moment. If we're checking, if we are looking at this candle here, we know from last class that this candle started creating from this low, went to this level, and actually closed here. Like it came down here, went up there, and closed over here. We already understand how candles are being formed by now. So the next thing is, when we've known how the candles form, we know that candles would hardly form without a candlestick, right? So the first thing you want to know is the average. Which point is that point in the market that price always pulls back to before moving forward to its direction, right? That being said, we need two moving averages. The first we shall add is the 5 moving average or the fifth moving average. So we go to indicators and strategies and we type in moving averages, but not any kind of moving average. I'm sorry, the exponential moving average. So we click on that and we click on it twice to have two of them. Right, we need two. So that being said, I'm going to edit this first one I added. Click on settings, go to your input, and you want your input to be 5. You want your input to be 5, right? And the color I use is yellow. So we go to your style, yellow, so that we are all on the same page, right? We are all on the same page. Like you can add the color, you can add its thickness, depending on you. Make sure your precision is default, your input is close. Simple as that. The second moving average we want is the 13th moving average. 13 moving average. So that being said, you guys should add the 13 moving average right now in your mind. That is indicators and strategies. I hope you would all go there. Moving averages, exponential moving averages, comes, but definitely this is the 9 because we haven't edited. That is it. It's standard as 9. So we go here and 13. Change the style. We want it to be red. Just add some thickness. It's blue. Source is closed, and your styles as well. The positions as well default. We have this too, right? This is all you need. This is all you need. Right now, this market will most likely sell shortly and buy again. Not 100%. You can never say 100%, but you can try to be as precise as possible. You saw it. That's the move. That is slapping. At this moment, you get into your lot size, pop, and you're out. And we are talking of XPS, right? How many pips were this? 2 pips. So this is the point. Let me just confirm it is, yeah, it's the 5 and the 13 is right, because when I add this, my setting right here, the matrix, it's actually the same. Like you just see the aqua, the gray, and the blue adding. Meanwhile, the others are actually behind it. So this is the point. It is great when you see market away from both moving averages. I have once said that market always looks for a way to pull back to the yellow. You see this yellow? Market always looks for a way to pull back to the yellow moving average. That is it. It pulls back and it takes its direction. So let's take an example. Let's just stay here. Do not trade with your live account right now because I'm teaching. I am not 100% concentrated in all my analysis. I don't have all my pages open that I'm going to check. So right now, we see that market has left and crossed the yellow, right? So at this moment, what is the market going to tell me? It is going to move back and always look for a way to come to the yellow. You see it? The yellow is there. It's selling. So what am I calculating? You guys have to see now that you should just look at the past. See this sell? What are their common factors? It always touches the yellow line. You see? It always touches the yellow line. Even here, it bought, and always try to, market always looks for a way to come to the 5 moving average. Always looks for a way to come to the 5 moving average. Just look at the past. Look at this is now sellers in power. The yellow is below the red. Sellers in power. Always looks for a way. It could sell, but always looks for a way to come back to the yellow. Sells, looks for a way to come out to the yellow. Buys here, in case the buyers are in power, like this is the flip happens, buys, came back to the yellow. Buys, came back to the yellow. Just look at the past. Here, the flip occurred here as well. But what happened at this moment? Market is going to look for its particular position. Which position is that? The 5 moving average. It comes back to the 5 moving average before it takes off again. I don't know if we are getting the point. I don't know if we are getting. If we're not getting the point, just hit in the chat because today is not that complicated. It's simple but effective. Look at this flip. The flip happened here, right? The flip means, for those who are new, the yellow line, the yellow moving average crosses the red. It does not matter which direction. If it crosses from above to below, sellers are taking over the market. It crosses from below to above, buyers are taking over position in the market, independent on the trend of the market. Here the flip occurred. It sold, right? Came back, definitely. And the new candle began here. Sold, most likely, came back to the yellow. So we are looking for always a means to go to the yellow not the red, the yellow. Why? Because the yellow moving average, the fifth moving average is very, very strong. How do you understand these moving averages? Now, let us assume we are writing in Africa, they call it the A levels, right? Like your general exam, isn't it? You've studied for, you've gone to primary school, gone to high school, and at the end of your school year, you need to write, I don't know, 10 exams and collect 100 points. Now, if you pass with 70%, let's say with, yeah, let's say 75%, you have passed. That means if you fail 25, you have still passed, isn't it? Now, this is the thing. We try to fail just 25%. Every time we slap, every time we fish, we try to fail just 75%. Because this 5 moving average here, we need to understand it as if we are failing just 5% of the market, right? What is going to happen at this moment? Someone should just guess. If this is not a strong selling, that is it. So you wait for this short buy and you're out. So if you fail just 5% of your exam, have you passed? Yes, you have. And that is exactly what we want. When market comes to the yellow, it looks for its direction. If the market is selling, it sells, good and fine, but it always looks for a way to balance back so that it does not fail too much. What does that mean? It comes back to the yellow line. So let's look for a spot where the market failed and failed and failed well. It happens. Okay. At this point in time, this is a 1 minute time frame, right? So that market did not always get back to the yellow. At this point, at this level here, we have to understand that here, for example, it's clear, right? Here, if market started selling here, the yellow line is obviously here with it, right? Or maybe above here even. Does it make sense to do it on a live, like right now? It does not make sense because it's not selling strongly, it's not buying strongly. So, and at this moment, you don't do anything. This is not, you are on the yellow, means you have actually just passed. You are waiting for market to fail so you can readjust. Let's put here. Market sold and started here. At this point in time, market never came back to the yellow, right? Market never came back to the yellow. What is that telling you? In case you see a strong bullish or a strong bearish movement, you stay out of slapping, you stay out of fishing. Because what happens is this, you have to understand it as if you wrote multiple papers and you just keep failing, you just keep failing. And when you failed so much, to fix what you have spoiled takes a lot. You get it? It takes a lot. Meaning, if you enter here for a buy at this level, where is my mouse? If you enter here for a buy when this candle started forming, or maybe even at this spot, because you're waiting for it to actually back away from the yellow, so you have enough space to get to the yellow, like the pull back up, the reverse, right? But it does not happen. Instead, it keeps selling and keeps selling and keeps selling. That is why it's not good to fish when you have a strong bullish or bearish movement. Is that understood? Yes or no in the chat?
Yes.
Good. Don't slack in a strong bullish or bearish movement. Same as here. You see, these candles are way too big. They never came back. Never came. Okay. You hardly see. So what I was saying is, if you fail here, or now I was talking about this, if you fail here, that you enter, and when I said when you fail so much, you will take a lot as well to rearrange, right? To fix what you've spoiled. or let's say to maybe the teacher will say you need to do some homeworks and stuff. So those homeworks, you need to understand them like this. You are going to be in red for a good amount of time before even a reversal comes back. But that's not what we want. When we are slapping, we are in the market for 1-2 seconds and we are out. 1-2 seconds and we are out. Are we getting it? This thing is very simple, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So here, this is a good one, right? Guess what is going to happen? We wait for it to buy, then we sell to get to the yellow. We hope it buys, then we sell to come to the yellow. That is it. So at this moment, like, you also need to have a good connection, a good internet connection. Get it? So at this moment, we are seeing it buying. The market is not strong bullish, not strong bearish, right? What are we thinking? We think it will come back to the yellow, right? We expect it to come back to the yellow. Why? Because it has been respecting all the time here. So let's see if it's going to come back to the yellow. And how many pips? This is 3 pips. 3 pips. Sometimes I do this with US 30 because it makes more sense for me. You know, you guys know me. I'm the radical person. I like things that are fast and dangerous because it now depends on your accuracy, right? Now depends on your accuracy. So this is the point. The moment you are away from the list, actually you don't even need the red, from the far you are, that is it. We get it. We got the tips. We got the tips. That is it. 5 tips. Good one. For the beginning, you guys should do it with currency pairs because it's not going to be that radical. Right? That is it. We saw what happened, right? Okay, so at this point in time, what would you be doing? Market looks for a way to come to the yellow, right? But it has already touched the yellow. And this is the next, how to call it? Next case. In case the red line and the yellow line have already cut through the present candle, you don't know, you just wait. You just wait, right? For example, here, you just wait. You want it to go away. You want it to actually go away from this point. You want the next candle to form whereby it has not touched, whereby the moving average has not touched the line. In this case, you wouldn't want to slap, actually. You wouldn't want to, because the yellow line is already through. And right now, the DeLorean is actually forming. For those who are versed with the DeLorean, I think we did this last month also, or 2 months ago, as well as in IM Academy. So in this case, you are out of the market. Why? Because your yellow moving average, the 5 moving average and the 13th moving average are already touching or even crossing your candle. In this case, you are out. Best case scenario is when this candle actually finishes in how many seconds? Okay, good. That is it. The candle, it's finished here. So you're actually looking at the time as well, right? You're looking at the time. What I wanted to say already occurred, so it would be poor to say it again. At this moment, you are still out of it. You are still out of it. So if you are above the yellow, you are thinking of selling. If you are below the yellow right now, you are thinking of buying. Get it? You are thinking of buying. And that is just few. And it's always best. I always talk about the best case scenario. It's always best market price. Who is getting? There are some stubborn people right now actually fishing as I'm talking. Stubborn. Oh God, they sending me private messages. So it's always best market finds itself on its limit. That means, look at this, just wait. When market has bought in such a way that you can't see any candlestick, right? Like right now, there's a candlestick here and there's a candlestick here, you're out. You want this market to actually sell and erase this candlestick so that by the pullback, it creates a new candlestick such as this. But this is okay. Now was the time. That is it. You want it to actually go way away from the yellow, not just a few pips. You want to actually fish a lot of pips, right? So you want it to go like way away from it so that you can get the 4 or 5 pips or so, isn't it? Okay, that was exactly what I was waiting for. It comes here and it pulls back. Get it? Comes here, pulls back, and you're out. It comes here, you enter for a sell, hoping it gets back. And now you have to have a good account balance. Good account balance. That's it. So right, this is a good point. Here you were actually out, right? Because this is the best right now because the yellow and the red are not cutting through. So here was the moment as you are taking your time. This thing is so fast that my brain is not even coming along. You guys should try to, but at the end of the day, I would write down, I would say the algorithm, the steps to take. So at this point in time, what are we thinking of? The yellow, yellow. And when this candle, this red one was finishing, check the time. It was left like few more seconds for the candle to finish, like 2 seconds. When you see that this candle is a strong sell, way away from the red, sorry, from the yellow, and you have 2 seconds for this candle to finish, be aware of the fact that the next candle here is new and it is away from the yellow. So you are thinking of buying at this moment, and look at it. Who is understanding how simple this thing is? I don't need more than 15 minutes to explain what today's class, because we need just one moving average. And if it is difficult, just let me know. Maybe I'm still making it complicated. Just look, just watch. Okay. Right now, are we in the market? No, we aren't, right? We aren't. The yellow is already crossing. We have 50 more seconds. We have 30 more seconds. We just wait and we pray that this candle actually buys a lot. Pray this candle buys or sells strongly. You have 3 seconds. In this case, you forget the next candle. See, the next one is going to begin soon. Okay, good. It's fast. So you want the candle to actually finish way away from it. So what are we doing? Okay, good. This is what I was actually expecting at this point in time. It would have been best. It would have been best if this candle finishes and it's like this, because when it finishes, it's Jesus Nazareth. So look at this. This candle still has 25 more seconds. If this candle had just 2 more seconds left, I would target the next candle to buy. Get it? I would target the next candle to buy. Then the good thing too, and what you always need to understand is, and always put in mind is, make sure you have your support and resistance placed, your battle zones. It's just going to help you to know if market is going to reject a certain place or not. I'm putting this support right here because of this. You see rejection here, here, and this is a battle zone here. So there's actually battle here. Okay, you see, that is it. That's what I was. This is the point. So what are we expecting here? It's a buy, right? To the yellow. And hoping this is not a strong bearish market. And that's why it's always good to always have a good account balance. Account balance is always the best thing. You should not be doing this with you should not be doing this with 400 years account and on some certain kind of stuff. You can do that on currency pairs because it's not going to be that critical for you. But what we are waiting, what we are expecting is, if this is not a strong bearish movement or market, we expect it, that is, we touched it. Which thought? We touched it. We were in panic for a while. There we are out, right? Buy and come back. Buy and come back. So that being said, Step number one, you get into the market, you place your support and resistance to understand where great rejections might take place. We had it here. I already had mine fixed right, so let's remove them again. I will place this here. Wait, not here. I'll place it here. I try to get the average rejection here. 1, 2, 3. This line was respected as well. Here, very solid. Here, very well. Here, very solid. Good. That's where I place this one. The one above the resistance. Where will I place the resistance? Okay, great. The resistance somewhere here. Good. See the resistance here. This level respected well. Here as well. Here as well. This a little bit more. One here as well. One here as well. Good. And make sure you are not in a strong bullish or bearish movement. In this case, we are, so we would forget this market, right? We want something like this. We want a consolidation. That's the best case scenario. Consolidation. Where are we? See, what was the algorithm I said? I said, in case this candle finishes, right, here, the next one starts creating, whereby it has not touched the yellow line. What do? The space is too small. So we always need space when trading, right? You wait for the space, wait for the market to sell well. So calculate the rejection. You see, 1, 2, 3. I haven't even placed. I haven't placed it. Great. Calculate 1, 2, 3, and here we go. From here, you want to touch the yellow. 75 pips. Jesus of man. 25 simple pips. I don't know if I've never heard this way of fishing from anyone. It's something I discovered using the moving averages I use. I'm moving the using averages that I use as well to develop all the strategies I am doing that we could be able to use in the future on softwares that we just call trades out, and we just need to type in them. So this thing is simple. Others might fish differently. Good and fine, right? There are so many ways you can do this, but this is just one. And I think if you are really careful, right, if you look that, okay, you find yourself in a battle zone, what I call, or consolidation for others, if you don't know my language, is you can fish well. You can fish well. And what do we always want space. What do we want? We always want space. We have the space. You always look at this. Okay, right now, this candle started without it touching the yellow, right? Sells, we want it to sell, and we target to get back to the yellow, right? It sells, and while it's selling, the yellow is moving as well. Okay, good. It's going to sell to this level or maybe to here, and we target the pullback. Target the pullback, right? Are we seeing it actually happening? At this moment, as we've touched it, we are out. Like we wait for the next candle. So place your support and resistance. 1, you wait for a candle which is almost finishing, and you have space. Make sure price level at that moment and the yellow moving average at that moment have enough space for you to collect what we just experienced here. What we're experiencing here as well, this is not space. This is not space. We want it to go as close as possible to whatever resistance support, be it at this moment support, and we pull back, we take the pullback. That's how simple it is. Nothing complicated. Before I go to the next, I can't sleep on this. Is there any question? I've just given like 7 different examples, like we've just been made. But any any questions?